What's going on, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, guys, welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. Guys, listen, we were doing a live stream and it kept acting up for some reason. YouTube was glitching. I had to jump off and delete the whole video. And the video was about the Sade Robinson case today. It started today. They did jury selection yesterday. And I wanted to talk about a little bit of a few things that I seen today. I'm laughing because I'm embarrassed. Ain't my fault. But anyway, listen. The trial kicked off today, right? For Sade Robinson, who was murdered last April. I think they said it was the 2nd of 2024 out there in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Shout out Milwaukee. And ladies and gentlemen, this girl supposedly met this man right here, this animal. Maxwell Anderson, age 33 at the time he met this 19-year-old girl, supposedly took her out on a date, took her back to his house. Sometime in that time frame of then when they went back to the house around 9 something to the next day, this guy killed young Sade, dismembered her body and scattered body parts of her all over Milwaukee. Now, all of this girl has not been found, as parts of her were in a playground. Other parts of her was on Lake Michigan. She wasn't all the way totally found. So far, as of today, a year later, both of her legs, this is the parts of her that was recovered. Both of her legs, her right arm, her torso, and her right breast were recovered. The rest of this young lady still missing to this day. Horrible. Now, the day trial kicked off, they started the opening statements. I want to get into some particulars of what I seen today and in a recap. First thing is this. Court is very boring. I know a lot of you guys were trying to watch this thing live because you were interested in the case like I was. I was in here working in the studio, making my videos while having it run in the background. It had a lot of auditory issues, meaning the sound was messed up. Sometimes you couldn't hear. Very boring. You know what I'm saying? And like most court cases are like that. It takes strong will to even go in there and pay attention in these court cases. This is why, you know, when I go on the road and I'm like, yo, I got to go do these court cases and go sit in court. Besides seeing the people that you actually see on the news, it's very hard to stay focused in that. So they interviewed 10 people today, and I'm just going to run down the line of these 10 people or who they were. First person was the guy who found Sade Robinson's right leg. Now, speaking of right leg, today's Day one recap, mainly they talked about the first body part that they found in order, the right leg of Sade Robinson. They found her right leg first, which supposedly they said had washed up on Lake Michigan, on the shoreline, you know, out there at a park. But it was dropped there that prosecution is saying by Maxwell Anderson. Now watch. Whole court case today was about her leg, where her leg was found. They had the first guy out there, some guy named Osiris Terrell. He was the one that found the leg, him and a friend. Next person they interviewed out of the 10 people was the first cop on scene. First cop on scene said he came out there, verified it, you know, that it was a human leg because Mr. Terrell, the guy that found it with his friend, they were visibly shaken up because they thought it was a mannequin's leg, and come to find out it was a human leg. And on top of that, they saw the leg looking down off an embankment where the shoreline was to Lake Michigan, you know, like coming up where the waves was coming up. They happened to be looking over there, and it was like an embankment where like it's like steep, almost like a cliff, and her leg was on the middle part of the cliff, like at the bottom part of the cliff. So when the first cop they called out there, he came and secured the scene, verified it. A second cop came. They had them both take the stand, and they talked a little bit about the condition of the leg. Now, I want you guys to check this out. They said she was killed on the 2nd. Now, when they discovered this leg, it was, you know, I think the next day. They said the leg had very little blood on it, and it was cut almost cleanly. So I don't know what he used to cut the her leg, you know, to dismember her, but whatever it was very precise. They said it wasn't really a lot of tear marks on the skin, like, you know, like with a chainsaw or something, like something jagged where it would tear the skin up. It was very smooth. They said then, you know, the second cop came on and he verified that. Now I'm gonna tell you something that's crazy, and people didn't catch it. When the second cop was up there on the stand and he was talking to the prosecution, he was talking about the same thing about the leg. The third person that they had, the fourth person that they brought there was the homicide detective that came on the scene after they, you know, announced it a homicide. It was a woman. The woman detective came up there and they had pictures that she had took, crime scene pictures of the leg and everything else. And they were up there showing on this big telestrator some of the pictures of just the scenery. And they slipped up and showed her leg on a bunch of images as they was trying to take that off. The media camera caught it and was like focused on the thing, and they clicked it off. And you could see all the images of her leg, of where they found it and everything else. Now, I don't want to be graphic, you know what I'm saying? But I want to tell you this. The way they described it, it was true. They cut through whoever, this guy that took her life that they're saying did it, Maxwell Anderson, whatever he used was precise. Her leg, the skin wasn't tore off or nothing. It looked like a clean cut, almost like a surgeon did it. You could see the bone and everything, and the bone was sliced almost perfectly, like how like a butcher would cut a pork shoulder. You know what I'm saying? You get a bone in pork shoulder, they had a bone. It looked just like that. And man, the family was in there. I know they probably seen that. That was hard to fathom. You know what I'm saying? Just seeing that. But anyway, the detective was up there. Now, they interviewed 4 detectives today. The first detective was a woman. She was the homicide on case detective, but she came on scene, right? She said, you know, once they found out the leg, you know, it was a human leg, and they examined it and seen it was a woman, they went out there with sonar the next day and like boats and stuff and drones to try to find anything else, and they didn't find anything, right? So they had one off of her. Then the next person they interviewed was the pump house operator, because it was like a water like treatment thing. I guess they call it a pump house. A pump house operator, or the guy that manages that type of place. Come to find out, the pump house, it's a narrow road that go back there where the pump house is, because the pump house was next to where the leg of Sade Robinson was found. It was like a parking lot up near the pump house, but it's high up and you can't really get down there unless going through this narrow trail, right? When they got to the pump house operator, he had took pictures of somebody wound up smashing through the gate, because that area back there is private, and they don't want people walking back there with all that equipment, you know, vandals and stuff. So they had it's gated and it's locked. Sade Robinson's car was used to hit that gate. So, and it hit the gate hard enough to where it broke the gate open, and part of her headlight and some of her car parts had fell off and was left on the scene. So, you know what I'm saying? You can get back there. So the pump house guy was talking about, hey, you know, he ran the parts and the parts came back as a Honda car. You know what I'm saying? So he was up there just talking about, you know, the gate wasn't wide enough for a whole car to go through, the hole that was made. And he said, you know, he just took pictures of it and just showed the, you know, in court, they just showed a piece of plastic on the ground and stuff like that. So they had got off of him, right? And person number 6 was another detective. This is the guy that dealt with like phone forensics, right? Now this is the phone forensic guy. He ran and got all the information about Sade Robinson's phone. Now, one thing he said that was important today, and I think a lot of people didn't pick it up. Sade Robinson had this thing called Life 360. It's an app that shows anywhere your family members, wherever your phone pings and all other places. That was instrumental in them catching or linking it to Maxwell Anderson. Why? Because you know the story. After they drove back to his house. Sade Robinson and him drove back to the house because I don't think he got a car. So they drove to 2 restaurants. One restaurant he picked up his W-2 where he said he worked at Twisted Fisherman or something. He went there, picked that up, and then they went and ate at somewhere, another restaurant, I can't remember the name. Then they went back to his house. Evidently, she must have been driving or he was driving. Either way, the car is hers. The car goes back to the house. They said the car went back to the house like 9:30, 9:45. Around 12 o'clock, 12:30-ish, the car leaves out. You know what I'm saying? Because they both went in the house. The car leaves back out. Now, ain't no cameras of the car leaving. But they're going by her cell phone where it was pinging in the car as they were going different places. So they went downtown where Sade Robinson's address was. Not saying they went in there, but they went downtown and he was just driving in different spots. And her phone was pinging in different spots. This guy is smart. This guy was smart. And I'm going to tell you why he was smart. He made sure he texted basic stuff, putting him at a particular place with her to where, you know, I think this guy watched a lot of true crime stuff and he looked at ways people got off and he tried to implement them in the way he was handling this situation with Sade Robinson. He had her go with him to pick up his W-2 forms from the job, supposedly. Then they left there, and I'm more than sure his place that he worked at, Twisted Fisherman, got cameras in there. So he could be seen with her, because people gonna know he was with her because the cell phone gonna track that he was with her from the text messages. They went out. It make him a suspect. So boom, he go see with her, boom, in the Twisted Fisherman, probably some cameras, see them together, leave, go to another place, that other restaurant. They probably got camera footage over there in case they do, like he don't know. And he could be seen with her there. Then they leave, go back to his house. Then all of a sudden, when the car leave, her phone's in the car, it's pinging like she left and he stayed home. He's smart. Now, watch this. The detective with the text messages, the cross-examination, they try to trip him up. They like, oh, with the pinging of the cell phone and stuff like that, can you tell how long they was at the house? The detective was like, yeah, well, it shows the long. He said, can you tell to the exact minute? They try to do little stupid things. The main thing the defense was trying to do today was basically saying everything that was presented, the driving around, the car, you know, going over there to Lake Michigan or Waukegan Beach or whatever it's called. They kept saying, oh, well, you can't tell it's him or not. But this the part that was crazy. Now they got this guy doing the text messages, right? He just showed the text messages. Wasn't nothing major with it. Then they had another detective come on there. This detective showed the Sade Robinson's car driving over there by the pump house, and all the places that she was pinged at, cameras was picking up her car. Now they said she had a dark blue Honda Civic. Now remember, after 12 o'clock, all this driving was around, so they're presuming Sade Robinson was dead already. And this guy was just, you know, she was dead and dismembered. This guy was driving around, dropping her body parts off in different places, right? Now, this guy, they're showing cameras of the car going different places, right? After they got done, here come the cross-examination. Now, these detectives are just giving their information of what they have and what they saw. These defense lawyers be trying to like jam them up almost to where like to sway the jury into like thinking a certain way. And they do this in court a lot. They say, well, can you tell who was driving the car? No. Can you tell her they white or black? Can you tell if it's a man or woman? The guy's like, I can't tell that. I mean, it's far away. Like, and they do these type of stuff, right? So that they was done with him. Then they had another detective, right? Well, hold on. Yeah, they had another detective come on there, and he was talking about the car parts. He was in charge of taking in the evidence of the car parts that was broke off the car when supposedly Maxwell Anderson hit the gate, the pump house gate, to go down that narrow trail to throw her leg down there on the side of the beach, right? Now, I'm going to show you something before I get into him, right? The pump house gate, because that's basically all he did. They just showed stuff from the evidence room, which is the broken headlight and all that stuff that was on the ground, the debris. It was really nothing. But one part I almost missed. This detective that was showing the cameras, they showed something crazy today. Maxwell Anderson, they showed, if you go back and look, they showed how dark it was back there. They showed his car going past the little water treatment plant and going back there where that pump house parking lot was. They showed him almost from a distance the site of where the leg was found. Because remember, he dropped his leg off down there. They showed him walking back there like he had something on his back. Then he went down and acted like he was doing something. Then he left. Then he came back and he went down in that part. What I think happened was, this is just me, I think he went to throw that leg, and it's dark back there, ain't no light. He went to throw that leg back there, and he didn't know if it went in the water or not, because he wanted to make it look like it washed ashore. He threw the leg, probably didn't hear no splash, left, walked back. He must have thought about it, and he came back, and then he walked down there in like a part of the embankment to go down there to the shoreline to see where the leg was at, because it's pitch black back there. I'm gonna tell you something. Dark individuals do some of the darkest stuff. When I was looking at how black it was back there, and he out there with a human leg after doing something devious, and he walking around in the dark, not knowing if somebody's out there, another predator's out there that can prey on him, that say a lot about the psyche and the driven evil nature in some people to move forward and hurt others. I mean, I would never be in a place like that, dark back there like that. He threw her leg back there like it was nothing. Now, the officers in that arrived on scene, they said the tides was messed up and it was rainy. The weather was really bad. So they said as the tides was coming in, the water was getting near the leg. They had to move the leg, I think 2 or 3 times up the embankment. I think that's why when they came and saw the leg, you know what I'm saying? The leg was up high because the first officer had to move it. But either way, man, this is what they talked about today, the first leg. I think, honestly, he threw that leg out there and he wanted them to go out there in the boats like before and just concentrate there while he scattered other parts of her around. And I think, honestly, the other parts of her, and this is just my opinion, that have not been found, I think they might be all together. Because these criminals watch the news. And when stuff start washing up and these people know about it, I think a lot of times they're making them where they just leave something or just bury something. You know what I'm saying? Because they already got the point across by causing hysteria and getting themselves on the news. But I mean, that's just my opinion. Then we get down to the last 2 people. They had a leasing agent up there, white lady. She was up there and she said she was the leasing agent for Sade Robinson's apartment building downtown. Her apartments were called Brewers Point Apartments. This lady was visibly sad. You know, she was fighting back tears. And I don't know, I think something was wrong with her because you could hardly hear her. And then her mouth seemed like her teeth didn't open. I don't know, something might have happened to her. But anyway, she just talked about how nice Sade Robinson was and stuff. And then they interviewed this maintenance man. He's the last one. And he talked about how she was nice, and that's basically it. But today they concentrated basically on the first body part that was found or recovered, her right leg. And it was on the embankment side of the, Lake Michigan. They call it a beach, but it was like on the shoreline. But they slipped up and showed what the leg looked like on there, man. I hope it didn't traumatize the family too much. And that's what they had today. I think that Life 360 app was instrumental in them putting this case together and figuring out what he did. Because I'm going to be honest, make no mistake, this dude right here is a monster. And they got him clean cut and all this stuff today. They done took that Thor looking beard off of him to try to make him look more presentable to the jury. But this is a sick case, sick individual, and this is just day one. So we'll be prepared for tomorrow. Hopefully I can get my live stream running so we can run it and we can talk amongst ourselves as a family on what we saw in the case and get some questions answered and just exchange some ideas. But, all in all, man, this is a sick, sick crime. And if you look at it for what it's worth, this guy right here at 33 years old can run mental laps around a 19-year-old girl. And let's just be honest. He's been an adult for a long time. And he's been around the road and back, where she's just beginning. There's no way mentally she could have competed with his treachery and evil intent. More than sure, because he wore a hell of a mask where she couldn't see through it at a young age. This guy lured somebody in to do something real foul to him under the guise and premise of a new beginning or a new love. Sickening. I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. This is just day one. We'll come back tomorrow with day two. Justice for Sade Robinson and family. See you in the next video. Take care.